Mini episode 1219 of the FDH Lounge is brought to you by Sportsology, delivering unconventional columns and webcasts about sports, TV, music, movies, and more. Follow them on the web at sportsology.com.
The FDH Lounge. You'll want to schedule your life around it.
A long time ago, on a gloomy, wet Cleveland spring night, two men stand alone amidst the late-night drizzle. Their voices echo across the vacant station parking lot as they debate the merits of the great American radio show that have been missing for far too long. On that night, an idea was born. That idea became the FDH Lounge. Welcome to the FDH Lounge.
What were your thoughts on what they did? Because both from a filling holes perspective and from a talent perspective, I was pretty happy, and I think I would concur with Chris's B+.
Yeah. First off, before you do the Browns one, jump back to the thing.
Yeah.
You'll get to the both of you will enjoy this. I go into every draft, real or otherwise, the same. And while it's happening, I tend to react to a real draft like I do a fantasy draft. So, Baltimore was obviously taking us left and right.
Right.
But that was more of a, that's this guy situation.
Right.
Every time they pick somebody, and I'm drawing a blank here, if you can pull it up, they really...
Matt Bouquet. You're thinking Matt Bouquet out of Texas A&M.
Right.
Yeah, that was one of them. Reference of the linebacker thing. I'm sure you and I were in the same boat where we got past the Celtics pitch, and I started freaking out.
Right.
It just started going, okay, linebackers get in real fast.
Right.
So, before Delphin, I wanted Patrick Queen in the worst way.
Oh, Chris and I were bemoaning that in real time.
And so when they got Patrick Queen, I said, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
And then Patrick Queen, J.K. Dobbins, Hunter Bouquet, Devin DuVernay, who I really didn't need him, but he was a player I liked. And Malik Harrison was the one that really took my grip. I was at a place where I was looking between, at that point in the draft, the kid from Wyoming, the kid from Appalachian State, and then Malik Harrison. And even Zach Bonnet at some point there. And not getting any of those really started to freak me out. So that when they got Malik Harrison, I literally threw the papers that were in my hand and walked into a different room. But what I wanted to say is Baltimore was a this guy, whereas Cincinnati was the bane of my existence throughout the draft, from division and just to get a snake perspective, because I believe they're the ones that got Logan from Wyoming. And granted, I didn't care about Joe Burrow. Every other pick they had seemed like somebody that I wanted, specifically for the Browns. Now, getting into the Browns. I had Jedrick Wills. I think I was teetering the last week between him and Worse.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I'm looking back on it, I think I would have been a little stressed out if we'd gone Worse, because he's got some technique issues that really make me cringe, consistency concerns. And then I went back and watched Wills again. Once you see Joe Thomas completely nerd out about an offensive tackle, you have to reassess where you're at on that.
Mm-hmm.
So I had him somewhere between like 2A and 2B. And then the more I look at that kid, the more I see exactly what Joe's referring to. He does everything well, and he doesn't let defenders get the better of him, which you do see from time to time on Works and from back then. But I'm in love with the Wills pick right now, and I have zero hesitation on him moving to the left side and insert whatever two-handed insert that you like there. But I have no concerns about that whatsoever. Now, while in hindsight, I can look back and say, look how phenomenally brilliant the trade back from 41 was. I can accept that now.
Right.
But that's done. Knowing that you've got to get an impactful, immediate starter at safety or linebacker at that spot. My immediate Brown-centric brain went to, oh crap, we just lost Delphin.
Right.
And for them to go back like 9 picks or whatever it was, knowing darn well that it was only 3. Look at them. It was what? It was only 3. And initially when they heard that they were trading, I panicked. But once I realized that Rome was dropping back from 41 to 44, and I looked at the teams in front, and I knew they didn't need a safety, I was like, at that moment, I went to heart racing. I went, okay, we're okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, getting Delphin was huge because I think at that point there wasn't another safety that I was in love with, but there were about 3 linebackers I really liked. But I loved what they did there, and to Chris's point, it did display a grasp of personal discipline that we're not accustomed to. In previous years, if that's who they wanted, they would have just taken the 41 and just been done with it. And then we wouldn't have had that 5th round pick that very well may turn into something. Now, from there, it gets interesting. I'll be honest, the one that I'm most intrigued by today is actually the last pick. But Jedrick Wills, Grant Delphin, Jordan Elliott, again, you agree with Chris, that one I was not prepared for, but the moment it happened, instead of being Browns-like and freaking out because we missed on the one guy I wanted there, I had to take a step back and go, no, that might be brilliant, actually.
He is the clear guy they want to bring into a rotation and then eventually replace Richardson.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why they drafted him. That's what the deep rosters did. They said, we had another immediate need, but you know what? This guy's value here was too great for us to pass up. And oh, by the way, when he started in 2 years and replaced Richardson, we'll be damn glad we drafted him. That's forward thinking, and you just have to see a long time.
Right.
And at that point in time, too, I believe we're looking, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I believe we'll be looking at something with a defensive tandem that is somewhere in the ballpark of 24 to 28 years old.
Yeah.
It's also a nice little benefit to have.
Right.
I like Nick Harris for what he can provide with position flexibility. Is he a center? Is he a guard? I don't know, but I'll take it either way.
Right.
And then the one that really today just can't stop going back to, and it wasn't. If we go through the whole draft and pick a wide receiver, I would have been fine.
Right.
That's not an area I'm terribly concerned with. However, I would implore any Browns fan who doesn't know about him or is repulsed at the notion that he played for Michigan to go back and look at Donovan Peoples-Jones again.
DPJ, baby.
He has essentially prototypical size.
Yep.
He's got good speed and good quickness, but what really stands out is how he catches with his hands. He hardly ever catches with his arms. His body control is like first, second, third round level. The ability for him to change direction mid-spring is crazy. And just with the types of throws and types of routes we anticipate that we're going to see from Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry, I just get the impression that this stuff might have just been value being what it is. And no, you're not going to take a receiver in the first 2 rounds, obviously. But where they got him, what's going to cost it, what he may end up providing, both kick returning and receiving as hopefully that number 3, maybe he'll split with Higgins if we keep him or whatever. I am so intrigued by that pick. I think the value is phenomenal. And I think most teams downgraded him because Michigan is a dumpster fire and their quarterback situation is awful. But when you watch this kid play, his hands, his feet, his mind, it all just feels right. He feels like not an Antonio Brown level, but he feels like one of those guys that people get ready that you don't think about, and then 3 to 5 years from now, you're going to look back and go, wait, he was drafted where? Like in the 6 years, you're going to look at not believe that he wasn't a beat the 4th round pick, something to that effect. So I
think there's no doubt that he was mismanaged at Michigan.
Yes.
Badly. He was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. Even last night, Urban Meyer, which I will say, Urban Meyer said he should have been a top 15 pick. That tells me that Urban Meyer should never be in charge of an NFL team. But B, to his point, and to your point, which is he was grossly undervalued probably because of lack of production at Michigan. And I blame most of that I put that at Harbaugh's feet, not the players' feet.
Right.
And to your point, Jason, in terms of the traits and the size and the tools, here's a guy who is, we see this every year out of the draft. There's 1 or 2 guys who come out of nowhere because, for whatever reason, they're just better pros than they ever were in college.
Right.
And this is a guy that I think screams that he could very well be a better pro than he ever was in college. Because I think the game and his skill set fits him much better, and we have proper coaching that'll know how to use it. So that's a great example of, even though ironically again PFF had such a low grade on it, but that's again because of production. They're only grading on production, and you can't grade on truly on what you don't have, what you can't see statistically. So I like the pick in the 6th round. Like you, I was floored with it, and I loved the pick of the tight end in the 4th round.
Yep.
That was another one that I thought, if they can get him in the weight room and add 15 pounds of muscle out of this kid, there's some real potential there for him as well.
Oh, yeah. I was very happy with that pick as well, no question about it. A lot to unpack there. Yeah.
Rick, I mean, this is just one thing real quick. I feel like I would be misrepresenting myself as a Browns fan if I was still here. We got a linebacker.
Sure.
That was probably 2A on my list.
Sure.
The way the draft fell, I think it was important to get Delta where they did. Now, as I mentioned before, I shortlisted linebackers focused, and Jacob Phillips wasn't on that short list, and I have some concerns. I'm never a fan of the Browns pick the other linebacker from a team that has a great linebacker. You remember from the USC Clay Matthews era?
Yes.
When we got Samoan, it was just garbage.
Yeah.
So I'm leery of Jacob Phillips. I am willing to lean on the fact that he did come from LSU, and maybe, like he will show, he will be better in the pros than he is in college. I'm just afraid that he's Joe Schobert light if they're going to play in there. So I'm willing to let it ride, and hopefully I'm wrong, but that was like the one pick that I looked at and went, really?
Well, yeah.
Well, where he's not Joe Schobert is the fact that, Schobert can cover. Phillips is not very good in coverage. But where Phillips is excellent and excels at tackling. He tackles everything.
Yeah, you pick up on that. He doesn't get blown up. He doesn't get dragged a lot. So definitely, there are positives.
He had the highest tackling grade of any linebacker last season. I mean,
think he did.
I
know he led LSU in tackles. So there's that.
I mean,
Oh.
that says a lot to me that you're playing in the SEC and you're leading that team in tackles and you don't miss tackles. Period. For the whole season, he had 8 missed tackles. For 15 games? We had linebackers who missed 8 tackles in a game. So, I mean, that's why they drafted him. Because they were like, if we're going to have a guy and we're downplaying the position and we're not valuing it, the most important thing we want in the position is, do you bring down running backs and tight ends coming across the middle? Do you tackle? And the answer for this guy is at least, yeah, he does tackle.
Wonderful. So we got the photo negative version of Joe Schobert. So we got that going for us. But, all right, well, as I said, a lot to unpack from what you guys both said there. A couple things. One, in terms of what school you come from, Ohio State or Michigan. I won't say who. A couple of my good friends, lounge dignitaries, were giving me the whole, I wish we'd have taken Antoine Winfield over the guy from LSU. So there was some of that which I just strenuously disagreed with. I guess I'll just leave it at that.
The legacy stuff's gotta go.
It does.
I don't mean to
Put it on the curb, bro. Put it on the curb. Yeah. I mean, that's there's no room for that. Yeah.
I got the other day from a friend about that.
Yeah.
Let's stop it. He's over the hill, never made it, but hey, look at who their daddy was.
Yeah. I mean, now, that said, I wish the Cavs had found a way to get Gary Trent Jr., but nevertheless, speaking of which, I will say, Chris and I were saying in real time during the NFL draft when we were doing our Facebook stream, that 740 T-shirt that Joey Burrow is rocking, must get one of those. That is pretty cool. Got to get one of them 740 shirts to be sure.
I didn't know what it was, but there was a hint there that I thought, that's the area code happened. I know a couple guys are going to want that.
Well, here's the funny thing. It wasn't the area code when we were there. I can't even remember what it was, Chris. Was it 513?
614.
It was 614. Okay. All right. Yeah. It didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't even. That's how old we are. It wasn't even a 740 back then. But nevertheless, in honor of Joe Burrow and in honor of the alma mater, I gotta go get one of them sumbitches. But
I believe you can order one from the college bookstore, Rick.
Okay.
I saw something on Facebook that was accurate.
Very good. Very good. Well, what I want to throw out here also for you guys too is the flip side of the mirror here. I'm going to go bottom 5 in a couple of the different categories here. Top 75 players available. Bottom 5. We'll start at a tie for 27. New England and Seattle, 29 Atlanta, tied for 30 LA Rams and Pittsburgh, 32 Kansas City. Oh, by the way, you're defending Super Bowl champions. And looking at it for filling needs, 28 New England, and a 4-way tie for 29th, Buffalo, Green Bay, Indy, San Francisco. And then the mashup of the two rankings as far as top 75 and filling needs, 28 Indianapolis, 29 Seattle, 30 Green Bay, 31 New England, 32 Kansas City. So some teams that you wouldn't necessarily expect to see down there, Chris, and some of it is you could look at it and say, well, some of these teams didn't have high picks or traded away high picks, but nothing is going to stop you from getting value with your second or third round picks all in those spots there, plus getting value there, but additionally filling holes. Nothing stops you from filling holes just because you're picking a little bit lower. So there's no real excuse for it. Just atypical behavior because, again, we're looking at many successful teams, successful franchises that didn't grade out well in our draft rankings for this year.
Well, I think the one that's, I think for a lot of people surprising, Patriots, just because of their history and pedigree, but it's clear that Belichick has a strategy that's leaning towards next year.
Right.
And this draft for them was not about filling at all. They probably had a board of best available and just stuck to it and could care less about anything else. Who are the best players? Oh, you're the top-ranked player on our board? Well, you're the next. Oh, we don't need that right now. Don't matter. I'm still drafting you. I'm sure that's why, the dog was making some picks. They're from his Nantucket compound. And you could, it was almost like, I felt like they were, the Patriots were just auto-drafting, right?
Yes.
Here's our board. Go ahead, computer, just pick the next one. And again, that's clearly a strategy designed towards next year. They're writing off this year. Not that they're going to tank, but it's clearly not their strategy in terms of developing that roster in the long term. So I'm not overly surprised to see that. Certainly in terms of the fan base, they have enough wiggle room there to be able to say, hey, we're retooling. Kansas City, I was a little intrigued by. I liked parts of their draft, and then some of it, I wasn't thrilled with. I did like the running. I did did like the running back at the bottom of the first round at LSU.
That's right.
Number aside, I know I mentioned to you that night, he just reminds me so much of Emmitt Smith. Watching him this year, that's obviously an area of need for the Chiefs, and Andy Reid talked about how much he reminded him of, and was better than who's the kid he had in Philadelphia. When he was there,
Buckhalter.
He got out of Westbrook.
Okay.
The one he got out of Villanova.
Oh, Westbrook. Yeah.
Yeah, Westbrook. He said he's better than him, so reminded me a lot of Emmitt Smith. So I know that was one that a lot of grading, they really gave a bad grade to. I know PFF hated that pick. But I liked it. I thought it fit for what they're trying to accomplish. I mean, look, when you're the Chiefs and all you can just outscore everybody on your way to a Super Bowl, do you really worry about feeling?
Yeah, but with their cap situation being what it is, you have to use the draft to fill needs. You have to use it in these ways, and we'll see if they end up paying for that next year. I will say this quick follow-up with you before I ask Jason, and that being, I got an opinion from FDH Lounge dignitary Anthony Petrone, who was aghast that if Kansas City was going running back, that they didn't go Jonathan Taylor. I said, say what you will about the pick he made. He fits them better than does Taylor. I'm right about that, am I not?
You are, because he's a much better, receiving running back than Taylor is, I think, at this point. Could Taylor get better? Sure.
Yeah.
But for right now, for the Chiefs, he's very much plug and play.
Yes.
So, from that standpoint, he made a lot more sense in the short term for them, where, I think Taylor went to the right spot in Indianapolis.
Right.
And I think he'll fit what they're trying to do and what they asked their running backs to do much better. So again, what we always talk about with players, I mean, their success is first predicated upon where they go in the system they get drafted in. And I thought most of those teams drafted correctly based on what they asked their running backs to do. So yeah, no, I think he's going to fit with Kansas City more so than Jonathan Taylor.
Absolutely. Jason, how do you see it this year as far as some of the losers of the draft and some of those potentially including some teams that we've been used to seeing as winners on the field?
Yeah, got a fair amount here. So first off, just because I'm here, I guess, I made a comment on social media during the draft that I thought John Elway hit it out of the park in round one with Jerry Jeudy.
Yes.
And the rest of the draft, to me, just from a why did you pick that guy in particular kind of perspective, because I feel like they reached pretty much everywhere else. I made the comment that John Elway looked like he was somewhere between phoning it in and letting the bet.
Yeah.
Or even taking a test, studying for the wrong test. Like, I wasn't sure what the heck he was doing. Now, that's not to say they're bad. It's just that you're looking at this and saying, okay, if they're going to grab a corner, there are these 2 or 3 guys I think they're going to go for. And then they pick someone that they probably could have gotten around later. It's just strange. Kansas City, I agree. The running back's a nice pick. It's probably something that they desperately needed to figure out because the committee thing was only going to work for so long. Yeah, I agree that they probably aren't too worried about their picks because at this point they're probably just supplementing what they already have. One that a lot of teams, or a lot of, let's say, rankers or websites are down on, and I get it, but I get that they didn't necessarily go after need, but I do like what they did. Jacob Eason was a nice value pick at quarterback. Big, strong arm guy that, isn't necessarily ready to go right away, but he could be nice in the future. But Michael Pittman he's big, he's nice, and Jonathan Taylor, I just feel like fits him so wonderfully. And I like Justin Black pick. So I thought they did really well, even if they didn't go in thinking that we have X number of holes that need to be filled. And then the last 2 that I've got for you are just funny, if anything. New England, I love Kyle Duggar, and I feel like he is about the most New England pick that was out there to be made, short of Ovechkin from Colorado, who just feels like a Belichick type receiver.
Right.
But he didn't go there. So I love those two picks. So here's the funny part. I don't recognize a thought process, a logic, a perspective on any of their other picks. But because it's Belichick, who cares? He's going to find a way to make that work for his system, and it's going to work out with that. So, no, he thought he went to bed. He actually killed it. So it's Belichick. Who knows what the heck's going on?
Right.
And then the last thing I want to say is there was a prospect in this draft that wasn't being talked about a ton until very late. And he was a guy that I really loved. And I actually thought if we're going to assume that New England's not going to sort of just do what they do and just eat whatever record they get and then come back all of these assets next year and just clean house and create a situation that allows us to compete in 2021, if we throw that away, I actually thought Jordan Love was tailor-made for Belichick.
Yeah.
So you think, like, wherever he goes, I'm going to like that pick. But I don't. I don't love it. What is Green Bay taking? First of all, let's just piggyback on the elephant in the room. Why are they taking a first-round quarterback if we're under the assumption that Aaron Rodgers still has at least, let's say, 3 years left? And I'm picking up on some rumblings that it might not be so much happiness in paradise over there. And maybe the relationship is strained to the point where they're going to move away from him sooner rather than later. Even if that's the case, I still have no idea what they're doing. So Jordan Love, I like the prospect. I don't love him going to a team that still has Aaron Rodgers. And I thought that they were going to address wide receivers early and didn't. So I honestly just don't have any idea what Green Bay's doing.
Well,
Nobody does. Nobody knows what Green Bay's doing. And they got my only F on the day. I think they pretty much had a dog picking their picks. It didn't even make sense. None of it made sense. Taking the running back out of Boston College where they did, and there's nothing they did that made any sense. It was just a fullback. I mean, they were just all over the place, and none of it was need. I mean, they literally addressed 0 need positions. It was mind-boggling what they were doing. If you're Aaron Rodgers, who, I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan. I mean, I'm a fan of how the quarterback he is. I'm not a fan of him. That said, he's kind of just furious.
yep.
With that.
It's almost the opposite of the Bucs. If I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm looking at this and I'm pretty pissed off because Tom Brady goes to the Bucs, and the Bucs roll out the red carpet. Obviously, because it's Tom Brady, but they address areas that are going to make the quarterback and the offense happy. And it's almost like Green Bay just said, sit on it and rotate.
The Green Bay draft was like this. If we had to figure out a way to design a way to make Aaron so mad that he would hold out for an entire season, what would we do? Let's design a draft around that strategy. And that's what they executed.
Well, couple things, guys. I'm stealing both of these takes from Twitter, but these are so outstanding I have to. There was one bit of commentary that said that evidently the Green Bay front office watched The Last Dance and came to the conclusion that Jerry Krause was the sympathetic protagonist. So that's one possible explanation. Another one is, think about this, guys. We now have a quarterback depth chart in Green Bay, and this is the ranking for the moment. Who's 1 and 2? 1 A-Rod, 2 J-Lo. How about that?
Wow. Oh, that's funny.
Yes. Yeah, both of those. To that, I would just add the take that for all of the talk about hacking during the draft, how do we know the Packers weren't hacked by Ted Thompson? Because it sure as hell feels like one of his drafts. So, maybe he...
Or at least they were hacked by Ryan Pace worst operating GM in football. Excuse me while I stockpile 10 tight ends.
Yes. Well, I tell you what, though. I hear what you're saying on that, but they can cut at least 8 of them now that they got Cole Kmet. I love that kid. He is a stud, and I think he is going to be a big-time performer. I think he's going to make some Pro Bowls there in Chicago. He's a quarterback's best friend as far as being a reliable outlet, and he gives you much more than that. So I hear what you're saying. They were stupid to have stockpiled the way they did before, but it doesn't mean they didn't get somebody that's not really great.
Well, it shows how brave he is. He's willing to just keep going back to the same position, basically admitting these previous 9 were all wrong. I'm going for this again. I'll applaud him for not being afraid of going back to the well. And I agree with you on the prospect. I like the kid. I think he's got potential Pro Bowl written all over him. He's a real deal. But man, wow, Ryan Pace just I don't know. Think about another position maybe.
Yeah.
There are other positions on the still.
Are we suggesting that Cole Kmet might be the Alton Johnson to the Detroit Lions scenario here? Where you just keep picking receivers until you get it right?
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, I don't know that I would put him in the same breath as Megatron in any other sense, but yeah, in that narrow, limited sense, yeah, that after the Charles Rogers and 5 guys named Williams in the first round and whatever, yeah, I mean, I think that might be, you might hit on that.
I thought Kmet was number 1 on an island by himself.
Me too.
As far as tight ends go.
Me too.
So it was tier 1, Cole Kmet, and then it was dot. Eventually you get to second tier. But yeah, I think he's one of those sort of all-around complete tight ends that does everything equally as well. Is he Gronk? No, but he's going to be really solid though.
Well, and I will say this, that the performance that he gave last year, we have it in our draft guide here, Pro Football Draftology 2020. I brought back the feature that I had from last year of attempting to anticipate the top not only NFL but college games of the year. And the top college game of the year, I said going into last year, to me the most anticipated college game because of the stakes that there were, was Notre Dame at Georgia. My brother and his wife being Notre Dame alums, they were there. They were at that game that night. A disappointing outcome for them, but a performance for the ages, really, and getting to see Cole Kmet against a great Georgia team and what he did in a losing effort. I mean, that kid is just very, very, very talented. And I hear what you're saying, Chris, but I do think that, yeah, I mean, they have finally hit up, just like Jason said, Megatron with the Lions, finally hit upon that. And while I'm referencing history, I will say, Jason, it was bringing back memories the other night. Chris and I, remarkably, making it all the way through the first round, doing that live stream. No pee breaks. We just kept it right on going. We plowed through. Not exactly the same thing, but because we took pee breaks, obviously. We called them commercial breaks for the purposes of tastefulness. But 2006, I will go to my grave never forgetting that. You and I, what was it, 9:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m., one of the last years the draft was still on a Saturday, plowing through a 10-hour marathon at the old Sports Talk Network. I was summoning up a little bit of that marathon spirit the other night, my friend.
Yeah, no, that was, I tend to tell the story of that almost every year to somebody. And this year, it wasn't necessarily about the breaks or the duration, but, that was a draft that we'll remember for a long time. For a number of reasons. And not all of them are, player personnel related, although there was some bad picks that year. But yeah, no, that was a fun time. That's one of those days that I hope everyone has in their life, where you look back on some job where you just did, an incredibly grueling, long, driven thing, but enjoyed every second.
It was outstanding. I still rag on Anthony Petrone to this day, who was doing some guest booking. He kept promising us mid-afternoon we were going to get Troy Aikman. I still don't know what happened there. But we were...
Well, and I say this in all good fun.
Yeah.
But when you book an elite guest
Yes.
early in your career,
Yes.
they cloud judge me going forward. I don't know how real
Right.
That day, but
Right.
you know, the Nance effect being what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we dutifully plugged it, only to have a little bit of, I'd say especially me, egg on my face. I was the one plugging it, but oh well, no, it was a great time, and it was amazing, just like the other night was, and just like getting to break it down with you two guys today. The NFL draft season is always something I look forward to. It is great doing these roundtables with the two of you guys here, and I look forward to seeing what happens through the off season. With you guys subsequently. Jason Jones, thanks very much for being on today.
Yes, sir.
Chris Galloway, thank you as always, my man. You've been a part of every one of the football segments we've done for the NFL draft this year, including the two-parter on the Browns. Thank you so much.
Always a pleasure.
Really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much, and thank you, everybody, for tuning in to this mini episode of the FDH Lounge.